Out here, the Baltic Sea splinters into thousands of islands, small farms, rocky coastlines, quiet forests, and little communities that live in perfect rhythm with the water. This is the Stockholm Archipelago, and I'm here to hike the newest long-distance trail in Europe, the Stockholm Archipelago Trail. Now, there are 30,000 islands in this archipelago. Yes, you heard that right, 30,000. Sweden actually has more islands than any other nation in the world. And this brand new long distance trail spans 270 kilometers across 20 islands connected by ferries. It's a place that I just had to check out. So I am here for about 10 days. We'll be hiking across about 6 of the islands, staying with some locals, and getting a taste of not only what this trail is like, but what it's like to live here in this remote archipelago off the coast of Sweden. This is where this adventure begins, on the island of Nattaro. This is one of the most secluded islands here in the archipelago. And there are actually no full-time residents here, just a scattering of summer houses, some old historic buildings, and there's one family that is keeping this island alive, running the local restaurant here, and some summer cabins that you can rent too. Before the hiking begins, I'm grabbing lunch at the family restaurant. And for lunch, I'm actually being served a very traditional Swedish dish that you're supposed to have here in the archipelago, which is a shrimp toast. And I can't wait to dig in. Once we eat this, we're gonna gear up for the trail and then explore this island in full. All right, let's give this a try. It actually looks really interesting, kind of like a take on maybe a tuna salad. Looks like there's some caviar on top, and some dill and herbs on toast. That's actually really good. I think there's also some carrots in this. That's great. Also has some scallions and onions, I guess you can put on top. Bon appetit. No one lives on this island year-round anymore, but there are around 30 cabins that are open for rental from around midsummer to mid-September. And I'm staying in this one. I'm not gonna try to pronounce this, but I will invite you inside. All right, we are hitting the trail here on the island. This section is about 13 kilometers. Now, the Stockholm Archipelago Trail just opened last year in 2024. So this is the first summer of this trail being fully connected by ferries and available for hikers and explorers to come and check out. So really amazing to be here during its first ever season. And I can't wait to see this island. Now, the trail itself is 270 or so kilometers, spanning across 20 different islands. I'm going to be doing about 6 islands over about 10 days, experiencing not only the island lifestyle, but the landscapes here in the archipelago. And I'm so excited. Now, unlike a lot of my backpacking trips that you've seen in this series on this channel, this one is going to be luxurious. I'm going to be very well fed, very well rested. That's because instead of camping and bringing my big backpacking bag, I've just got a day bag. I'm going to be staying in cabins like the one I'm staying at here on this island, and at small bed and breakfast and inns and some of the other islands. So it's going to be just a fantastic, quiet, peaceful experience, spending time in nature and with many of the locals that call these islands home. Sweden has something called the right to roam, or allemansrätten, and this allows people to hike and to camp anywhere, even on private property, as long as you're treading lightly and respecting the land. On this island, there are many places to camp. There are many established places. Right now, I'm sitting at one of them here on the western side of the island. There is a cooking area here, also a campfire area, and plenty of places to pitch a tent as well. So if you're coming here, know that yes, you can rent a little cabin or stay at an inn or a B&B, but you can also just grab your tent and hang out here along the beach. My first day on the trail led me across Nattaro in complete solitude, just me, the deer, and the sound of swans gliding across the water. I rested beneath the pines, tasted wild berries along the way, and felt the rhythm of simple island life all around me. We are about halfway around the island now, and I think the nickname that I'm going to give this island is Spiderweb Island, because in the last, half a mile or so, I have just been collecting spider webs on my hat. I'm in an area right now that is full of blueberry and cranberry bushes, and it is pretty late in the season. However, there are still quite a few berries. They're not very flavorful. Unfortunately, I think they've been out on the vine a little long, but as you guys may know, I am a berry picking addict, so a little bit end of the season or not, delicious. That night I dined with some of the staff and the owners as the sun set over the Baltic Sea. It's a new day here, which means I'm on a brand new island. This one is called Ulo. It's just a couple of ferry stops over from the last island. And so far, I'm just loving that it's so easy to get around. I had breakfast with the Jung family this morning, and here I am, not even lunchtime, already on another island, ready to hit the trail here. Now this island, completely unique from the last island. There are some farms here, some full-time residents as well. And the trail today is about 13 kilometers. Should be a mix of rocky coastlines and forests. And I've got a couple of treats for you today. We're gonna meet some locals later, get a tour of the wetlands here and something really unique that they do with the cattails that grow there. So I'm excited for the day. It's very nice weather today. I also haven't seen anyone else, so it's kind of like having my own island chain. I'm loving the peacefulness and the beautiful nature. Here on Ulo, the forest meets open water, the rocky slopes and sandy beaches bearing silent witness to a long-standing fishing tradition here. Once the backbone of this archipelago's life, now replaced by the hush of wilderness and the chance to walk a trail almost alone. This place really does remind me of hiking in New England as a kid. Super similar to Acadia National Park in this island with all the rocky coastlines, and walking through the forest there just reminded me so much of being a little kid. In the forest near my house, and as you can see, I've got some blue fingers this morning from picking blueberries, but something that I did often as a kid. And these forests are full of blueberries and blackberries and raspberries and pine trees and rocks covered in moss and lichen, just like the forests of New England. So it really does remind me of home. The big difference is that here, instead of juniper bushes, like we had in New Hampshire and Maine, you have heather here, which are those bushes we've seen everywhere with the pinkish purple flowers. It's just super beautiful. And now we're back here on the coastline, hearing the waves crash against the shore. It's just a beautiful day. One of the things I've seen a lot of so far these last 2 days are swans. They are a bird I rarely see in America, so it's really cool to see them when I'm coming into these different bays. Now this one has at least a dozen swans. I can see them kind of in all directions. And these ones behind me, which I'll get a closer look at here, actually have about 4 adolescent swans. They're a little bit of a different color. They'll be a little bit more gray, smaller in size. You've got Mama Swan out there. Looks like she's about to meet up with another mom and her 2 swan babies. So really cool, really peaceful out here. Definitely enjoying the beautiful weather today. No matter where the trail takes you, if you're here in the archipelago, there's one thing that's a constant, and that is the Baltic Sea. This is a very important body of water for millions of people that live throughout Scandinavia and the other countries in which the Baltic Sea touches. Now, this is a brackish water body, a mixture of salt and fresh water, so it's extremely sensitive to pollution and habitat degradation. It takes about 30 years for the water in the Baltic to replenish, so people all over this region are fighting hard to make sure it stays protected. I set off next to interview Thomas, a local man that moved to the island years before, and when he got here he realized that the bay near his house was nearly lifeless. So he helped create a man-made wetland to filter pollutants from the water. Each year, cattails are planted to absorb phosphorus and nitrogen, then removed and reused as compost, completing a natural cycle of renewal. Today, fish have returned and the bay is alive once again.
Everybody says it's a problem in the sea, but I say the problem often comes from the land.
Yes.
We human beings are creating problems there which we are sending out. We had a lot of phosphorus and nitrogen around in the ditches here. And also there was no fish. So we said we can build a wetland, so we can do something. And we know that the Baltic Sea has huge bottoms, or dead bottoms, you can say. We cannot do anything about that, but we can do it here, locally. We started really to take some pikes and perches and lift them into this area. And first year and the second year. And the third season, we started to do that, but we saw out in the water it was boiling.
So they started to learn.
They were sexually matured.
Yeah.
So they would like to go up, and they call homing. We had 350 pikes.
Wow,
went up.
Amazing.
And they were 46 centimeters everyone.
Wow.
Fantastic. So what we're saying, we are preaching that everybody can do it. This bay here we can fix, but if everybody does their own bay, there is an effect.
Well, bravo. I mean, it's amazing to see conservation success stories that
yes.
are bringing
it's fantastic
and
really to
back.
see how you can start something and then you can leave. And just the fish fix it itself. Next step is to learn even more.
All right, I've arrived on the island of sand, sun, sailors, surly times, and hopefully some fun. This is the island of Sandhamn. I just made all that up, but I have heard that this island is a little bit more lively, bigger community here, lots more restaurants, hotels, and tons of sailboats. So I just arrived on the island and I'm gonna go find my hotel, grab some food, and then we're off to explore. This island it's adorable. I love it. There's all these red houses, all these little meandering streets. Obviously you're right on the water, but lots of people here. It's Sunday, so lots of sailboats are out in the water. Lots of people heading back to Stockholm and other parts of Sweden today, enjoying the last of summer here. But so far, loving this, doing a little exploration here. Taking a rest day today. Might go jump in the Baltic Sea too. I've talked with a lot of locals since coming here to the archipelago, and all of them have said the same thing when I've asked them, what made them come here, whether that started with a summer job or a family vacation. Every single person has said, I came here once and I knew I just had to come back and never leave. They all said they just fell in love with these islands so much that they knew they had to make it their home, and I can see why. Beautiful scenery, fantastic weather, great community, and lots to do, whether you're hiking, sailing, or just looking for some peace and quiet. All right, everyone, now I'm in the oldest building here, and I'm with my friend Andreas. He's going to give us a little bit of a tour.
Hello everyone. So, welcome to the oldest room in the building. and on the island. This is from 1672, so it's very old, very old. Our beautiful view, unfortunately, it's a bit foggy now, but this is amazing.
And how long have you lived here?
I've been living here for 2 years now, 2.5, but I've been here many years. I worked in the Seglar Hotel, I worked in the bakery, so this island keeps pulling you back, sort of.
That's a similar sentiment I've heard from every single person I've talked to here.
Yes, it's really nice here. So here's 2 small rooms, you can sit and have private parties.
And I heard the king likes to dine here as well.
Yes, they come a lot, often. This is a room also we have our Christmas buffet. So the whole room turns into a buffet room. And we have more than 20 pickled herrings and pig's feet in jelly and like the old traditional style.
No, I will not be trying all 20, I don't think. What's your favorite thing about the archipelago?
The water, I think. I grew up on an island and I worked on another island and I'm here. I worked in boats. I just love the water, I think. And there's beaches all over the island and basically you can just go in any direction and you will come to a beautiful cove where you can be by yourself and it's like really amazing.
Sailors have been using this island as a stopover for more than 400 years. Back when this was one of the royal routes for trade during the Swedish Crown's era, 1600s and thereafter, this was actually the last stop for ships traveling out into the Baltic Sea and the first stop for those heading off to Stockholm. It's a foggy morning here on the island, which means it's the perfect time for a little murder mystery. There is a famous Swedish author that lives here, Vivica Sten, and she wrote a 10-book series called the Sandhamn Murders, which took place right here. Now, it's a fictional series, but the places within the novels are real. You can actually follow along a murder map that takes you to some of the real-life places on the island where these fictional moments in the book took place. One of those is this hotel right behind me, the Yacht Hotel. I'm actually staying here tonight. And in one of the books, a dead body was found right out here in the snow. So because the weather is a little gloomy today, we're going to go around the island and check out some of these murder locations, learn a little bit about the island's history along the way. All right, I've now hopped on a bicycle, a very Scandinavian thing to do. And I'm going to check out more of the murder route by bike. One of the great things about most of the Stockholm Archipelago Trail is that it can also be biked, and many of the islands actually have bike rentals or even free bikes that you can use if you're coming here to explore. All right, this next location, the Missenhuset, not sure if that's how you say it. It's actually a bed and breakfast, but in one of the books, a murdered woman is found in room 5. All right, I'm going to give you guys some fun facts as we explore the island now. I'm at this big flat rock here on the north side of the island. It's called Dansberget. I think that's how you say it, aka the Dance Rock. Now, this area, you can't tell today because it's quite foggy, but sits right here on the sea, pointing north into the Baltic Sea. And it was used as a place for dances for centuries before there was a dance hall here. Now, sailors spent many, many months at sea. So when they would come to land, a special treat for them was getting together with all the ladies of the island to dance and party. And this is where they did that. Pretty cool. Sandhamn is known as the Sand Island. And I've arrived at one of the beaches here on the southern side of the island. Nobody around this morning, but with a name like that, there are definitely a few places that you can swim. Basically on every side of the island, there is a little beach where you can get in the water. The chain just fell off my bike. It's been quite dirty, so I'm gonna test the waters here. I almost forgot to tell you about the murder mystery that took place in one of the books. There was a dead body found floating right off this beach. All right, I'm back from biking around the island. The chain broke a few times, which is unfortunate, but we survived. I didn't see any ghosts either. I've checked into my hotel for tonight, the Seglar Hotel, the Yacht Hotel. It's where we started this morning on our little murder mystery tour. And they know a way to get to my heart here because a little welcome gift, some Swedish craft soda, lemon and raspberry, very delicious. Some potato chips, Parmesan and regular. And the view here is very nice. I'm in one of the suites here at the hotel. It's very spacious. And we even got our own patio. Look at that. You could play padel over there. There is also a spa at this hotel, which I am definitely going to be checking out in a little bit here. Definitely could use a soak in the hot tub. But I'm gonna have some snacks. And later tonight, I'm actually gonna be meeting the owner of this hotel, which should be a fun conversation about what it's like to live here and some history about the island too. Okay, wait. Before I go, I just checked out my bathroom. I have never ever had this in a hotel. Let me turn on the light. There is a sauna in this bathroom. What? That's crazy. Sometimes I just have to pinch myself because the things I get to experience hosting this show, traveling the world, are just so special, so unique. Pele, the owner of the hotel that I'm staying in, this morning actually invited me to come to a small island about 10 minutes from Sandhamn, where he has a small off-grid home. He's also the keeper of the lighthouse here on the island, which was built in 1770. Now, there are a couple of other small cabins here. No running water, basic provisions here, but it is absolutely beautiful. It's a place that he comes when he just needs to relax. And he says as soon as he lands here, he just has a sense of peace. So I've had a little tour of the island, and now I'm gonna go off here to one of the edges of the island and just find a little zen myself. I think this trip has really been such a good reminder of just trying to relax a little bit more. You know, as Americans, we are very much so overworked and in the hustle and the grind. It's trips like this to places that are just fully immersed in nature, where you really have no other choice but to disconnect and to listen to the world around you in the tiny little area that you are. And it's just beautiful. After a few relaxing days on Sandhamn, I was off to Nämdö to hike with Michael, the very man that started the trail.
I realized that every island was so different, both from nature and from culturally. Each island is different. And to be able to show other people, if you, for example, don't know about something, you don't care about it. But if you get to learn about something and understand and see, oh, this is really interesting, then all of a sudden it becomes top of mind and it becomes important to you. Yeah. So the reason is threefold. One is to get more people to experience the archipelago, because that will make them more engaged in trying to preserve the archipelago as it is. Two, I mean, if we can generate business for the business owners, because at the moment they are making the majority of their money during the 6 weeks of summer. So we wanted to be able to create reasons for them to be open longer. And last but not least, we want to create a platform for information. We can use the trail to talk about what is important from an ecological aspect in the archipelago. Isn't this beautiful? Beautiful. It's just so nice to be in a place where you can't hear any electronical sounds or mechanical sounds.
Yeah. I keep thinking that I've seen the best of the best, and every night that I'm in a new place, I am just equally blown away. I'm now on an island called Ireborg, and all day I've been with Michael and we've been out picking mushrooms. I've been learning about the trail. I've been seeing the beauty of some of the other islands, and now I've just checked into this little cabin here. This is mostly a private island, but they have these rentals, and it is just a beautiful, I mean, look at this view. Hiking certainly isn't the only way to explore this archipelago. You can sail, you can bike, and today I'm going to be kayaking around some of the islands here outside of Ireborg. A local guide here named Jonas is going to be taking me out, and I'm hoping that we can see some seals and some of the other wildlife that lives here in the Baltic. Good morning. I am on my second to last island today for my last hike. This is an island called Nåttarö, I think is how you pronounce it. And I'm going to be hiking across this island. And then we have one more later today for kind of my last day on the trail. So far it's just been so wonderful. The last few days have been relaxing, kayaking yesterday, and kind of getting some different scenery on the trail. So looking forward today to get some more miles under my feet. So I just stopped here at the trail map. I'm here. If I go left here, I go kind of all the way around the island. However, if I go right, there's a bakery, and I'm pretty sure they're open, so we're going right. A little Swedish pastry. Well, it's gotten quite windy. I've made it to one of the most unique parts of this trail, where there is a rowboat. I'm going to be actually rowing across to the next island, which is called Sandhamn. That's where I'm staying tonight. Now, there always has to be a boat left on the shore on these islands. There are 3 boats. Unfortunately, there's only one here today, which means I will row across. I will grab one of the other boats on the other side, row back, leave that boat here, and then row back again. So we'll see how that goes, because it is quite gusty. It did rain, so yeah. This rowboat does not have a bilge pump. I'm the bilge pump. Am I meant to sit here? Okay, wait. Okay, everyone, full disclosure, I have rowed a lot of boats, but never a real rowboat, so there was definitely a learning curve here. All right, I'm figuring it out. Turns out I went the wrong direction, both physically and also in how to row a boat. Turns out you gotta go backwards. I'm figuring it out. We're learning. Now I have to go back past where I started. Sorry for the squeaky oar. And around. See how that goes. Oh my gosh. Oh my God, we made it. And there's only one boat here. Interesting. Oh, I see, guys. So there are actually only two boats. So I have to row one boat back now, leave it, and then come back. So here we go again. Gosh, that other boat is heavy. And as if that paddle couldn't get any worse, my visor just flew off and sunk into the Baltic Sea. So, that's great. One more time. Let's do it again. Good Lord. Wow. I'm exhausted. You know, I think a special skill that you have to have when you're out here doing stuff yourself and needing to be pretty self-sufficient is having a good sense of humor about yourself, because sometimes you just have to laugh at yourself with these situations. I actually rewatched the footage of me in the rowboat, not only when I first fell in the rowboat, but also just when my hat blew off. I mean, hilarious, hilarious. Pretty funny, pretty funny. Having a little snack here now. I always thought these were actually like little kind of like ground cranberries growing up, but these are actually lingonberries. They kind of look like a little blueberry bush, but they're red. They're a little bit tart. A little bit of sweet as well, but really tasty. And they make jam out of them, especially here in Scandinavia. But they also grew pretty prevalently in New England as well. These have been an incredible last 10 days, hiking across so many of the islands on the Archipelago Trail and really getting an inside look into the tight-knit communities here, the shared respect for the land and the sea. And there's just something about this place that seems to take a little piece of every traveler's soul. Walking here hasn't just been a journey, it's been an invitation to slow down a little, to notice more, and I have absolutely loved it. If you're unsure about whether or not you want to come here, if you're not a big backpacker, or maybe you're just a walker, or maybe you love to hike and you want to do it all, I highly recommend coming here and checking it out. It is absolutely beautiful, and it may just change your life. So thank you all so much for watching. As always, I'm Alice Ford. I'll see you on the next adventure, and until then, never stop exploring.